Hey guys, it's Steven. I am just getting back from vacation today, so I don't have my normal setup in place, so I'm not on camera myself. I'm just filming this chart today. But I wanted to get a quick video, a quick short video out to people who have watched my video about trading a power bar off the pre-market high. I put out this video last week and it's got over 34,000 views, which is kind of crazy to me. But I want to answer a couple of questions and just go over exactly the play, the way it works, because it worked again this morning. And I had some questions about the setup, which I think is super simple. And I want to answer those questions and not overcomplicate the trade. I've had some interesting comments on the video, and I'm not looking for confluences. I don't care about volume. I know there's a lot of volume at the open on the cues. I don't need additional filters, but I appreciate everyone commenting and adding your own take to the trade. But this is the simple trade as it is. So the first thing is this at the very open. You often get a candle like this at 4 a.m. That's one of the questions I get. 4 a.m. Eastern time is this candle. I'm looking at 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That's the pre-market for me on the East Coast of the US. That's the time frame. If I get a bar like this with this huge spike in the candle, I'm ignoring that. All right. I draw in the pre-market high and the pre-market low with a couple of minutes to go before the open at 9:30. This candle where I have ignored this, number one, I'm not counting. So for me, this is my pre-market high. That's number two. Number three, this is my pre-market low. Number four, which is here, now that we open, I'm looking for a power bar. To me, a power bar, and this is another really good question that I get, what is a power bar? That's a power bar, this green bar, because look how much bigger it is than the other bars around it. That's really a power bar. It's a simple definition for me. A power bar is bigger than the other bars. That makes it a power bar. Look at where this formed though. So for me, it's a power bar, but it doesn't have a lot of meaning as far as what I want to trade at the open, because it's forming not at the pre-market low and not at the pre-market high. For this trade, I'm looking for one thing, a power bar to form either at the low and move higher, or a power bar to form at the high and move lower. So this is a 2-minute chart. I'm generally trading a 2-minute chart throughout the day, but at the open, I'm looking for that power bar. We get a move higher, and then we get the power bar. This happened at 9:40, and I'm using a picture of the chart that I've marked up. This is at 9:40. That's the power bar for this trade because it begins at the pre-market high and it moves lower. So that's step 4. The power bar is here. When that power bar closes, that's the short, because the setup requires entering in the direction of the power bar that forms at the pre-market high. So that's where the short is entered. The stop is now the high of the day, which is right up here where these topping tails are. The cues bounced after the short and then fell back to pre-market lows. Again, the simple version of this trade, a move from the power bar to the pre-market lows if it's a short, and to the pre-market highs if it's a long. And that's it. Cover there. We fell through the pre-market lows, went a little bit lower, down to 575.65. I think that was the low here. And that's it. It's now, when this candle forms, it's 9:58. And that was the title of my last video, done by 10. So that's it. Like, that's the entire trade. Again, I don't care what the volume is. Again, I know there's a lot of volume at the open in the queues. I'm using the queue chart to demonstrate the trade. I personally wouldn't trade this on the queues. The queues are expensive at $576, which I've had people ask me this question. I personally use either futures or options to trade this, depending on how fast it's forming, what the spreads look like in the options. If there's a lot of premium baked in, maybe I don't want to do options. I don't want to do futures instead. But that is what I'm looking to use as a derivative of the queues to trade this. And that's basically it. Ignore crazy bars, mark the high, mark the pre-market low, look for a power bar. Maybe it doesn't form and then there's no setup, right? That's the answer to that question. If there is no power bar that originates at the pre-market high or the pre-market low, then there's no trade. If there is a power bar from the pre-market high that moves lower, that's the short. Where that power bar closes, yes, you can anticipate it, but that's adding something to the trade that makes it more complicated and gives it a lower percentage chance of working, because you could get a bounce before this 2-minute bar finishes. Short, when that bar closes, set your stop. In this case, at the high. If it were a bounce off of the pre-market low, then you'd be setting the stop down here at the low, but it's not in this case, right? It's a move lower, so it's a short. Set your stop. If the market turns, the queues turns and goes higher, take the stop. And that's a losing trade for the day. It didn't today. It often doesn't. Cover at the opposite side, which is the pre-market low in this case. And that's it. Again, very simple. Thanks to everyone who watched that first video. If you didn't see the video, again, that's gotten a lot of views for a channel my size, I'll put a link to that. It should be on the screen right now, the link to that video. If you want the cheat sheet, which goes over literally what I just said in this short video, if you want that cheat sheet, just comment power in the comments and you can have that for free. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being a subscriber if you are. If you're not and you like this content and you want to see more videos like this, please hit and subscribe, as they say, and have a good rest of the week. Thanks.